Hi, I'm Dr. Mike and this is NFGeeks. Well, this video is a theme video. Every week I make a video based on a specific theme so that members of the NFGeeks forum or other people who watch NFGeeks can make a response video based on that theme. And this week's theme is 2013 in review. So it's about the past year. Now that we're approaching New Year's. New Year's is in a couple of days. So it's about kind of going back and sort of reflecting on the past year and what has happened and how you're different now, and you know how I'm different now and how I've changed. And if I had to look back in the year and sum it up in one sentence, I'd have to say that the sentence is, that which does not kill us makes us stronger. And that is from Friedrich Nietzsche. It is not from Kelly Clarkson. Okay, let's get that out of the way. And that has been basically the thing that's happened to me. One of the things that's happened to me, you know, all years, there's been a lot of sort of hardships. I wouldn't say tragedy, but hardships. A lot of hardships. Certainly some of it are bummers, but a lot of sort of difficult things to sort of manage and take on. And ultimately, I have become stronger because of them. You know, a lot of fears have gone away because of them. A lot of personal strength has come out of them. You know, I definitely feel stronger. I feel more battle-hardened from everything that's happened, because there has been a lot of hardships. I took a lot of punches to the face this year, but I was able to get up and brush myself off and move on, and you know, I feel really good about that. So what I want to do is kind of just go over some of the things, you know, do a recap of my life over the past year and talk about what's happened. So the first thing I want to talk about is one of the major bummers, and that is breaking up with the doctor. Now, I've talked about the doctor in a lot of past videos. She was a psychologist that I dated for about 2 years, and I broke up with her over the spring, and it was a major, major bummer, okay, to do that. And I still, you know, because I still have some feelings about it, kind of on and off about it. I mean, it's over. We're not getting back together. I haven't talked to her in ages now. But still, you know, there was sort of hard feelings, and then some feelings left over, and I'm the one who still had feelings. You know, she doesn't. And that always sucks to be in that position as well. But, you know, there's something that I did learn that was important. Well, two things. And, you know, it was a tough pill to swallow, but swallowing it, you know, makes it stronger. When you take something that's really bad and you incorporate it, as opposed to blocking it or keeping it outside yourself, you know, if you can go incorporate it, you are going to be a better, stronger person because of it. Now, I've talked about INFP and ENFP relationships, and she was an INFP. And it did sort of, the fuselage did sort of break apart, just like I said, because, you know, when both are sort of sending their, you know, functions at each other, it doesn't go right, because, you know, they're both FIs and nobody realizes how they're hurting the other and how the other one's feeling, because they're both sort of, you know, attacking, you know, each other. And that's all true. And that is what happened with us, absolutely. But, you know, there was a bigger thing that I had to admit to myself. And that is basically that, you know, for whatever reason, she just wasn't in love with me. That's the real truth, okay? Because if she was in love with me, then we could have worked that out, you know, knowing each other as an INFP, ENFP, and managed it and whatever. You know, I mean, that's why I still think that relationship can work. But the real truth is that she didn't want to do that because she wasn't in love with me. Doesn't mean she didn't have affection. She did. You know, doesn't mean she didn't care. She did care. Okay, that's for sure. But she wasn't in love. You know, and the real lesson to learn out of that is, you know what, gang? That's not a crime. It's not a crime. It's not a crime that someone's not in love with you. Okay? Because you can't help that. We've all been not in love with somebody. You know, there's always been somebody who's been in love with us and we weren't in love with them. Okay, we all have that, and we all have the reverse, and this one's my reverse. She just wasn't in love with me, okay? And I can't fault her for that. I can be unhappy about that, and I can be unhappy about other things. You know, I have a list of grievances, you know, but I can't fault her for not being in love. So I have to sort of own that and take that in, and doing that has made me stronger, because I could say, okay, it's like, what can I do? I can't change that, so I have to sort of suck it up and move on. What else can I do? The other thing, and this is a little harder actually, even though that sounds really heavy, is that she didn't think I was marriage material. Okay, truthfully, she would have been, if we were just friends, she would have been fine with me, but she didn't think I was marriage material, and so far I can't say that I am. I think she's right, or at least temporarily. I don't know if any ENFP is marriage material. That's been something I've been thinking about. But saying that, thinking about that issue has made me sort of become stronger about relationships, and that's one of the reasons why I've been single this whole time. Because my thought has been, okay, if I'm not marriage material, I need to sort of see if I can be, or what am I, and figure that out before I go chasing this dragon again. If I do that at all, if I should, I'm not saying this in a permanent sense, that I'm not marriage material. I'm not marriage material forever. I mean, it could be, but I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that, I don't know if I'm marriage material now, and maybe I should think about that. So I have chosen not to be in a relationship. I haven't dated or anything, and I haven't been chasing it, and that's unusual for me. That shows strength, because in the past I would have chased it again, but I didn't want to chase it. I kind of wanted to sort of, be alone with it and sit with it and wait before I jumped on that and had another misery of relationships or whatever, really think about that issue about whether or not I am marriage material, and I still don't know if I am. I still think I can be, and 2014 will actually be the year that proves that or not. That's what I think. But it did allow me to be single this whole time. I kind of joke on the forum that that I hate everyone who's in love. And I do that now because that's sort of a running gag that I have, but I actually don't feel that way. Because I'm not necessarily missing being in a relationship. I kind of bummed out that I'm not, and it makes me worried about my past, because I think, geez, maybe I haven't been a marriage material ever, and that's why my whole life is a disaster in this area of love, and wow, what does that mean? So I'm a little more concerned looking back on my life, but I'm not necessarily unhappy in the present, because it's a choice I've made. I've chosen not to try, because I want to work this issue out in my mind and see if I can be marriage material. So, that's being stronger. I feel good about that. So the doctor was the first thing. The second thing that made me stronger was going through the rigor, and that's not even a strong enough word, but the rigor of doing my dissertation and graduating. And getting my PhD. What a difficult time that was. Okay, there is nothing more, grueling than a dissertation. My God, it's so difficult. It really is. Basically, I spent 2012 researching it and actually really hardcore organizing it into an outline from Labor Day to January 1st of 2013, and then wrote it in 6 weeks. 400 pages. I wrote 400 pages in 6 weeks, right at this table, right where I am in this room. And, sometimes I'd be up 24 hours. I'd see the sun sort of come, the sunlight come into the room, and I'd see the sunlight hitting buildings and things outside my kitchen window. And, I'd be just writing. I'd have altered states where I would go back to look at something I've written to see if I'd said something already, and I'd come across pages that I don't remember writing, but I must have written them. They're right there, but I would not remember, And it's something seeing it printed out too, because that's when you're really great. You see how huge it is, when you see 355 pages, in Microsoft Word, sort of abstract, but when you have it printed out, my God. So it was really grueling, and I developed neurological shit in my face. I actually went numb at one point in my face. I thought I was having a stroke. It wasn't. There was no stroke. It was just sort of a Bell palsy-like kind of thing, and it was grueling. And even when you pass it in, you're not done, because you have to get ready for the defense, and then as soon as you do the defense, you graduate. So all the PhD students are sort of in this zombie-like state when we go and get our diploma, just kind of, But it did make me stronger in a lot of ways, in terms of esteem, and in terms of seeing myself as a professional, as an intellectual. It does make a difference. It took a few months to kind of start enjoying the fact that I was a PhD. You know, it took a little while, but once I really did, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I really accomplished something. You know, and it brought up a whole different version of myself. You know, a much more a much more professional, more academic, more confident self, confident in my own ability to be smart. You know, it's helped with NFGeeks. I feel good about speaking from authority. I mean, I spoke from authority before, but now I feel like I can legitimately speak from authority. I've proved myself, you know, and that has made me stronger, as difficult as it is, you know. One thing about that, though, here's something that made me really strong. You know, people say, Mike, you're so open on NFGeeks, and I know that I am, but the things I talk about in NFGeeks are things I don't mind talking about openly. There are stuff that are hard to talk about on the inside for me, and I don't talk about them, and they don't end up in videos, ever. One of them is, and this is interesting because I talked about the doctor, is actually the long-term relationship I had prior to the doctor. That's the real painful one, where my heart was broken and has not really healed to this day. Okay, it's still sort of broken, and that's probably one of the reasons why the doctor and I, you know, didn't go so well too. But it was really bad, and I carry around a lot of wounds and scars, deep ones, to this day. Now, as I closed in on my graduation, I needed my dissertation edited, and because I suck at that, so I couldn't find anybody to edit this thing. And as it got closer and closer and closer, I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? I couldn't get anybody to do it, and I realized that so everyone bailed on me. Okay, all the editors, and I needed somebody right away. I had like 2 weeks left, and I knew that my ex-girlfriend, the one before the doctor, that she could do this because she did things like this. Okay, she was an academic. Lived in the academic culture. So I knew she could do this. And so what I did is I sucked it up. Okay, even though I had all this hurt and all this wounds and all this, stuff inside of me, broken, still broken. I'm still broken now. I mean, making this video. So all of this, I decided to man up. A little discussion went on the Facebook forum about saying man up. I think saying man up is okay based on context. So who's saying it and why and what you're manning up about, it determines whether it's good or bad. This was one of the good things, because I said to myself, look, this dissertation is my whole life. I got to man the fuck up, and I got to contact her because I need this done, and I don't know who else to do this to, send this to have them do it. So I did. I contacted her, and she agreed to do it. And it wasn't for free. I paid her, but she did do it, and it is edited, and it was done right. And part of that was just sucking it up. And so I do feel stronger for that too. That even though I have all these wounds and nothing changed, nothing was healed over this. Okay, I'm still like, I still got daggers in my back. I'm still deeply, deeply wounded. Heartbroken, totally heartbroken. So nothing to this day. So nothing's healed, but I was able to man up in spite of all this pain and suffering, and I manned up and got my thing edited, because that was, I put that first, and I put my goals first, and I put my my dissertation and my PhD first, and that was the right thing to do. So that was, being stronger, and I'm glad I did it. I'm glad, regardless of the fact that nothing changed between whatever happened between us. I don't care. You know what I mean? I needed this done, and I did it, and I feel good about that. So. Now the last thing is about NFGeeks. NFGeeks has really sort of grown and turned into this other thing. And that was okay, because that was my goal. My goal was try to make NFGeeks more than what it was this year. And I had a few goals. One was the forum, get the forum started. And one was a better camera. And, that was one. And another was to get a theme song, thanks to Nick. He did that. And, to try to get more interest and kind of just make it bigger. So that's happened, but what's made it stronger is that, boy, it's been hard running the forum. A lot more drama on the forum than there is on YouTube, and there's been all sorts of mayhem over the past year between members, and it was a real learning curve for me. I was much more naive and giving on the forum than I am now. I'm much more ruthless on the forum. But honestly, I'm not unhappy about that. There were a lot of, early on, there were a lot of problems and a lot of drama, and, and it really hurt, and it hurt a lot, but I survived. At the end of it, I said, you know what, I survived. The forum survived, and I survived. Now, there's been more drama, since then, it was like around the, spring, but there's been more drama in a lot of other ways, people being upset with each other, upset about someone who got banned, upset about theory, upset about this, upset about that. And so there's drama, and there's always drama. Drama is always cycling over various things. But it has made me stronger. I feel much more stronger in terms of administrating the forum. I feel much more stronger in talking in videos. I feel stronger about, calling myself Dr. Mike. There's going to be new types of videos starting in 2014. I'm going to expand out my content because I feel stronger. And it was tough because, a lot of relationships that I thought I had online disappeared, and I realized that happens online. Everybody talks about it, but I'm just saying I'm having the experience of it. People who would have rather had maintained relationships with, those things ended for a whole bunch of reasons, and still that made me stronger. Now granted, part of it made me more cynical. Sometimes that comes with being stronger, but it did make me stronger about relationships, about expectations, and about being strong for the forum, that the forum has to come first, and whatever happens, this is my vision, and I have to have the vision come first, and everything else is sort of secondary. I want everything to be cool and nice, but not at the expense of my vision for NFGeeks. And that's a sense of being stronger, So all of that has been, has taken place. So I go into 2014 feeling pretty good, and all this strength that has come about, I think, is going to carry me forward. So, for example, I am going to get back on the love horse in 2014. Not necessarily January 2nd, but I am going to do this at least one more time. I'm going to give love at least one more shot in my life, in my world. I'm not so depressed about it, and I'm going to see am I marriage compatible? What does that mean? Is that even important? I don't know. But I am going to give this a shot. I'm going to have the fortitude, to give that a shot. As far as my PhD, yeah, I'm going to actually present myself more professionally. Now I'm going for 2014 in terms of Myers-Briggs and in terms of anything else. I'm going to actually be drawing more on my knowledge from my PhD, even in the videos. The videos up to this point have mostly been about MBTI, but I'm actually going to be drawing more upon my academic work that and that's a lot, believe me. 10 years, 3 degrees, a lot of stuff. I don't even remember half of it. I've been going through my books to think about that, and I was like, oh my God, that's right, I took that course. So, but I'm going to be drawing more on that. I'm going to be using my academic self more in these videos, and I'm going to expand the channel. I have goals for the channel itself and for the forum. I want NFGeeks now to take it up to the next level. Whatever that level is, I'm not even sure I know what it is, but I want to take it up to the next level. I want it to be a significant channel on YouTube and improve the quality of it. Everything. Improve the quality of the videos in terms of the camera, improve the quality of the content, the editing, everything. I want it to be improved. And so I feel like I'm coming into 2014 in a place of strength, Now the bad part, I should be honest and talk about the bad part. The bad part is so I feel battle hardened, but I also feel a little battle weary. I'm a little, not happy about having all these battles on the forum, or with women in love, or even academic or job. I'm a little weary of all the hardships a little bit. Not weak, but just like, when is this going to end? The hardships have made me a little cynical and callous, as being battle-hardened. Now, honestly, Nietzsche would say that's fine. The overman, it doesn't mean the overman is heartless, but the overman is strong, whatever, and doesn't always, respond to certain things. But I do find that I've become callous in a way. I have no problem banning people. I know everybody gives me a hard time about that, but I have no problem banning people on the forum. I ban if I have to, and I do it quickly. I don't, people think I'm doing it irrationally. No, I'm actually totally cold. That's the part that's more frightening. I'm not like, doing it out of anger. I'm just click, totally dispassionately, because it's become, I've become callous towards all this battling, about it. And I've become cynical about people, about life. I get a little cynical about love because of this last thing that's happened with the doctor. I'm not, it's made me a little cynical. I get cynical about people online. People say they're going to be friends. I don't know, are they? I've become cynical about that. So that's probably the bad part of it. I'm saying it because I want to be honest. But still, it's not 50-50. I feel much more, that's like 75-25. 75% of me feels very strong And even though it was a lot of hardships over the past year, I feel very strong. I feel very, very powerful, empowered, I should say. I feel empowered going into 2014, and although I have battle scars, I endured, and I learned and I kept going forward, and I do feel stronger now than I did going in at 2013, even though I was in a relationship and I was working on this, and my PhD in the forum had just started. I feel much stronger now going in, so that's a good thing. All right, so make your videos about what happened to you in 2013 and where you think you're going. Don't forget, follow NFGeeks on Twitter and Tumblr, and come join the fun on the NFGeeks Facebook forum. New videos every Tuesday night, so come check that out. And it's happening, and it happened in 2013. Boy, it really did happen, because NFGeeks did really take off. So thank you all of you who did that, by the way, watch NFGeeks and participate on the forum, because NFGeeks did take off in 2013, and it's going to take off more in 2014. So if you thought 2013 was happening, where do you see 2014? 2014, it's really happening. Happy New Year.